I'm just going through your comments, and all I can do is tick. I can't reply. My hands hurt like fuck today. I've got gloves on. I've taken several different types of painkiller, and they just hurt. I'm making. Um, it's a fast 800 meal mushroom stroganoff today, and he's had to cut the onion. And then I wish I'd got him to sort the garlic out, and I didn't. And he'd been quite busy doing other stuff. I didn't like to ask him, so I sorted the garlic out. And I said I can do the mushrooms because they're not really heavy on your hands. So yeah, I can't reply to any of you, and I'm really I really appreciate all your comments. It's lovely to see all the comments for the cranes video that I made. I sort of, and then I made another video that you had. I'm just going to try and sort my mouse out. Yesterday, yesterday, which was Saturday, wet and signs of spring, and I sort of hummed and hawed about sharing that one because it was sort of, it felt mundane to me. I mean, my life, for me, my life isn't mundane, but for other people, it's mundane, and I just thought, well, but actually, some of you really appreciated it, which is really nice. I mean, I'm not doing it for the masses. I'm doing it for those that like it, and if people don't like it, they can go away. They don't have to. Nobody forces them to sit and watch. So yeah, thank you for all your comments on that. And a lot of you, my stress with the bank resonated quite a lot for you. I haven't done anything about it yet. We were going to go to the local. Sorry, I keep hitting that. We were going to go to the local branch, but with the plumbers coming on Friday, we didn't really want to leave them in the house without us, whilst they still might have questions to ask. So we didn't go, and I don't think the bank's open on Monday. So we might go Tuesday morning. I'm not really sure. I've now got a thing on my glasses. What was I going to say? I've been watching. You know how YouTube just throws stuff up and thinks that you might like it, and sometimes you do like it. I started watching some Alan Bennett stuff. He's written some really good stuff. Back in the 80s, and I think the 70s and 80s, we would watch Alan Bennett monologues, and I watched a couple that he wrote, and the actor was Patricia Routledge, who in much later years was Hyacinth Bouquet. And in the in the videos I watched, she is a very similar character, just as grandiose, just as arrogant. It's fascinating, and I sort of start watching them because I like to see how things were back then. It's interesting to sort of have a bit of a look back into how things were when I was a young adult. And so that moved on and started throwing up for me Play for Today, which I used to enjoy watching. I don't know what channel it was on, but I used to enjoy watching that. There were some. I think Kathy Come Home was a Play for Today, and Edna the Inebriate Woman was a Play for Today. Really powerful stuff. Really powerful stuff. Back in the days when we used to get powerful stuff rather than bollocky, sugary, whatever it is for the masses. I can't remember. Opium for the masses. So yeah, I started watching Play for Today, and I was watching one yesterday about a woman who it was called Life After Death, and a woman had just suddenly, with no notice, her husband had died, and he was like 57. And it starts with her going to register his death. Right, she walked from the hospital to the registry office to register his death, within hours of him dying. And you see her coming home on the bus, and she's standing on the bus. This is in London, and she's hanging on to the things that used to hang down for you to hold on to. And a young lad gets up, sort of the same age as one of my grandsons, 17, 22, whatever. And he gets up and he says to her, "Would you like a seat?" And he gives her his seat. And it reminded me that I was brought up to do that, to get up and give others my seat. And I brought my kids up to do that. And then this morning, Mark he was doing his usual rounds on the telly, and there was an article on the telly about, I think it's in Wales, that they're going to be um, making it illegal to park on the pavement because so many people park on the pavement, and apparently it isn't. It's illegal in Scotland, I think, but not anywhere else. And it was talking about, going to make it illegal in Wales, and I just thought that we don't have those days any longer when people worried about other people, when people cared about other people. And it's sort of thinking they've got to police this whole new law about, you're not allowed to park on the pavement. But you've got to start off with people caring about other people. And that ain't going to happen, is it? It's just that I know that lots of us care about other people, and I'm sure there's lots of people of a younger generation that care about people. But from what I see and from what I experience, there's a whole mass of people who don't give a shit about anybody but themselves. And I hate that. I really hate that. I really, when I see people parking in disabled bays or see people parking on pavements, I just despair that that people just don't give a shit about anybody. So that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been thinking about. And it's so we started off the other day, didn't we, with signs of spring and wet, which it was. We had a good amount of rain, not going to make any difference to the future drought conditions that I'm sure we'll be experiencing again before long. And now it's turned cold, and there's quite a strong wind from the northeast, and I think it's going to be, I can't remember, it's 5 at the moment out there, 5 degrees centigrade, but it's got quite a northeasterly behind it, so it probably feels much, much colder. I'm certainly not going to go. I was thinking of doing this out there because it's so bright. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day, but it is very cold and very windy, and I think if I had stood out there, you wouldn't have heard me for the wind. So that's why I did this in here. I think that's all. I'm just going to scroll down a bit further. And so when I tick, it means I'm just saying, yes, I've seen your comment and thank you. But I can't type today. So it's very frustrating. Very frustrating. But that's life, isn't it? I was getting myself dressed this morning. I had a shower and down here in the bathroom down here, and that was difficult, and went back upstairs and was getting dressed and struggling and thinking, I do hope that I don't get to a point where I have to get somebody to dress me. I'll hate that. Fucking hate that. And I know that there's lots of people that have to be dressed, but I just don't feel old enough for that. So I'm hoping that this is just my hands having a bad day. And I have I got 2 there. I've had my 5th. I've injected myself for a 5th time today. So I'm hopeful that when I go back to see her in April, she might increase my dose, because in some ways I'm a lot better. I'm certainly moving better. Once I get up and get myself moving, I'm actually moving better. But it's my hands that I really want her to address, and I'm hoping that she's able to do that. I feel quite confident she's able to do that, so we'll see. Anyway, it's Sunday, it's just before 11 o'clock, and I hope you have a nice Sunday, and you'll get this on Monday, because there's another. I'm doing them daily again, and because I can, because I want to, whatever. So yeah, anybody that doesn't want me to can go and look at something else. There's lots to look at on YouTube. I'm watching lots of crime stuff. So, okay. Bon dimanche.